face the crowd. Number 2. Okay, so to the crowd, without talking, you're extremely angry. Go.
Can you use the face?
Just the face, yep. Okay, so take it in. Good. Your turn, ready? Extremely angry to the crowd. Now this is why I took both of you up. In your mind, it probably feels like you're doing a lot. Physically, it looked like someone put Botox all over you, because it's not much happening. Okay? Now, communicate to the crowd, you're extremely happy. Okay? Extremely happy to the crowd.
Feels faker.
See? So that's that tension in the face. This is where you want to start stretching at home, right? So extremely angry, you could just be like, and again, same as like the internals. Like for you, guaranteed, extremely angry, you were doing it, but your face literally looked like, right? Extremely happy. That's most people. That's most people, right? So this is something, just in the mirror, practice that. Be like, okay, what would angry look like? What would excitement look like? You know, what would be surprised? Like, do surprised. You're actually really pretty good. Go for it. Surprised.
I don't even know.
You just won the lottery. Okay. Here, if you struggle with this, here's an assignment. There's actually a children's, a kid's book. So my daughter has this, and there's the different emotions, and you see kids doing it, and she can do it better than both of you. so you can get a feel for like what that looks like. But you could be like surprised, be like, oh, all right. So no, it's like, oh, like that, or angry is like, happy's like, notice the range, and you should be able to quickly access that. You should be like see how far you can stretch it. Okay. Now that does not mean that you're going to now do that whenever you talk to someone. That'd be extremely weird. Like imagine you tell me some surprising news. I'm like, oh, you could be like, whoa, right? Right? What would shy look like?
Shy?
Yeah.
Can I use my body or?
Nah, just the face.
Okay.
Oh, you can use your hands if you want, but just that.
Shy.
My daughter would know. She would do it better. No, I'm kidding. Shy? Okay. Now, notice how it can also be hard, because now you're thinking, like, how do I even communicate that? You should know, right? So Shy could be like, I'm even doing it with a smile. My daughter does it better than all of us, but hey, practice this, okay? And then this allows you to familiarize yourself with what? Your instrument. Now, here's the key. It's good to stretch the facial expressions, but I'd say this. What's the most important thing in terms of communication in the face?
Eyes.
Eyes. So then you want to compartmentalize and be like, okay, well, how can I communicate the same thing just with the eyes? Okay, so let's do, you can still move the face a little bit. So it's not like the first one where it's like the Jedi stuff. It's like you can kind of move the eyes. Do you see the new Batman? That's
No.
what.
No spoilers.
So at the end, no, I'm kidding. I'm not. But one thing Robert Pattinson's really good at, which I found at least, is that his eyes. Because that's saying you have the Batman stuff, you can't do much. It's all in the eyes, and just just looking to the right a certain moment, or communicating a certain emotion, blinking at a certain time. That's where the acting magic really is there. So I know you haven't seen it. You're now Robert Pattinson, Batman. Okay. Communicate with the eyes. You're extremely happy to the crowd. Sad. Okay, so good start, but notice how here, even that, there should be a whole range, right? Like happy could be like, sad, like, just even like the looking down, the blinking, there's a whole language there too. Now, you ready? Really happy with the eyes. Sad. Surprised. Not bad, not bad. Okay. So this here, something to practice at home, okay, to mess around with it. And then whenever you're talking with someone, so we had the foundation of the 4 pillars, then you have these 4 layers. I'm aware of all of them. So there's what I'm saying right now. There's how I'm saying it. There's what I'm saying. There's how I'm saying it. There's what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. There's what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Many ways you could say that. Many ways you could say that. There's, many ways you could say that. Okay, subcommunications. The intention, right? If it's like, again, listen to me. This is gold, da-da-da, not the droids you're looking for. And then overall, people just sense, this is the fourth one, your overall, you could say, level of self-esteem. Okay, and we're very fine, we're attuned to this. And then you want to start mixing and matching. So I might say something word-wise, but then I'll communicate, say, through the eyes, something else. And this is also something that you do, say you're in an interaction, when the other person is talking. So remember, channel of communication, this is the sad reality. Like say, I were to meet you two, like, I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Say you started talking, what most people do is like, it's the other person talking, and they just disengage completely. It's like, it's their turn, and it's like, like, I don't know, you're in your head. I'm still engaged. Like when you're talking, I'm talking at the same time, but not using my words. So you might say something, and I might be like, right? Like, oh, did you hear the news? Like, oh, yeah. Oh, it's like I'm doing all that, okay? So you're still engaged in the dance that is an interaction beneath the surface that are the words. And here's the beauty of this and how it really all comes together. When you get this, you never run out of things to say because you realize it's not that important. Even if you run out of things to say, you can actually bask in the silence and still communicate beneath the surface. So say hypothetically right now, it's like, I don't know what I was going to say next. I don't know where I was going with this. I might just be like, and generate a laugh. When it comes to the words, a few things to be aware of. These are the big key ones. Number one is structure, meaning if you're telling a story, or even right now in an event like this, there's a certain sequence that I could follow to explain a concept. So let's just say if we zoom out, what's the sequence that we went through here? Vibe first, channels of communication, and now wording, right? What if I just started with wording without explaining some of the previous concepts? You'd be like, oh, well, wait a minute. So even when telling a story, you should ask yourself, what do they need to know first to then understand this, to then understand this? Am I going to go this order, that order? What's the order? That's something you can play around with. Okay, so structure is one. Texturizing it is another one, right? So you could say something many different ways word-wise, right? I could say, like, say we took my journey to the seminar room here. I walked up the stairs, I walked in the room, here I am, at a basic level. The other one could be like, you know what? I walked up the stairs and I put my right foot first, then my left foot, then I almost fucking tripped. Now notice that, I almost fucking tripped. Even adding the F word there, that adds graphic to it, right? Oh, I did that. Oh, I fucking did that shit. Whoa, same thing, said very differently in the wording, right? And then there's also, again, adding graphics and imagery. You could be like, okay, I went up, I walked up the stairs. You could describe the stairs. And you'll even see, by the way, if you've been following my content for a while, I tend to play around with different content bits. This is usually how it happens. Like, I have a general idea of something I want to explain, and I'll put it out there the best I can. Say at an event like this. Say I'm playing around with a new bit of content. I throw it out there. I have the thing I want to explain. I explain it, and I see how people react to it. Does it click? Maybe there's some questions after, and I'm like, that question wouldn't happen if I structured it a different way. So I'll make a note. Then guess what? At the next speech, same bit of content, I'll explain it with the new structure. Any questions on that? Oh, another question there. Oh, now that brought up this thing where they didn't get it. Oh, that I talked about something that I didn't explain because I added that bit. Okay, let's mess around with it. Playing around with the structure. Then, with a piece of content too, maybe in the moment I'm like, you know what? With this piece of content, I could add this story to it, right? Make it a lot more graphic and, again, a lot more imagery. People really tend to remember things with stories, right? Like visual examples. Even guess what? The example here of bringing people up anchors this concept on a much deeper level because you see it, okay? Then from there, I'm like, okay, well, what about some humor? What about the wording? How about the way I explain it? The tonality? So you can just polish this. And that's usually what I do. After a few events, it's like polish, 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 and then it takes its final form that I then record and put out there. And it's not only done in the moment, and this is key when it comes to all aspects of charisma, all aspects of social skills. It's in the moment, but then you analyze after. Break it down after. Think of it, okay, that's interesting. There's this. Okay, and then the way I tell this story. There's many ways you could tell a story. Right? One example is in my speech yesterday, right? We talked about dream sexuals. That there, I knew I was going to bring that up at some point in the speech. You can ask some of the team. We had dinner the night before, and that's when I saw the meme about it, and I talked about it. I'm like, I'm for sure going to bring it up at some point, talking about like derping and kind of living in fantasy land. I didn't know how I was going to say it. I didn't know how I was going to make a joke out of it. I didn't know that I was going to call back to it at different points during the event, but I did. Now, I was pretty proud of the way it came out, but then I'm going to watch that footage and analyze it. How could I use it better? Oh, maybe if I use it at this point with this concept, it clicks more. So this is where your more logical, analytical mind starts kicking in, and you start, again, playing around with that delivery. Now, what you have to realize, though, is with the words itself, though, that's the sprinkle on top. It cannot be your foundation. Okay? If all you do is you rely on that, people can sense it's a substitute for what's at a core. So say, similar to you, it's like you have a lot of that kind of like wittiness that comes out just in the verbals, but it's kind of lacking that core. If you bring that foundation and then combine it with the humor, it's going to click at a whole other level.